What's up, stream? It is time. It's time. I've got a bunch of stuff to reveal to you. A bunch of stuff to show off today. It's going to be really great. It's going to be really fun stuff. I'm going to give it a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit before we fully get started. I've got some Mario Kart playing. I thought that would be pretty good. Speaking of YouTube, whoa, my mic is way too loud. What in the world? Turn my gain down a little bit. Let me see what the volume is now. How's that sound? Whoa, my mic is way too loud. What in the world? This is crazy. My mic is just randomly deciding to be super loud all of a sudden. I haven't done anything to it. I haven't done anything to it at all. Let me see how that sounds. Turn my gain down a little bit. This is crazy. My mic is just randomly deciding to be super loud all of a sudden. I haven't done anything to it. I haven't done anything to it at all. Okay, that sounds better. Let me see how that sounds. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. I don't know why the gain was jacked up. I guess the knob got turned up because it's a Yeti mic, which everyone likes to make fun of the Yeti mic. But honestly, it's been pretty solid for me. I've had this thing for like what, 8-7 years, and it just, you know, it works. At everyone streaming about the comic. No major spoilers. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so I'll move this over here. I'm trying to get my stuff set up to where where I can have multiple things open. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. I'll go with that. So yeah, I don't really have necessarily all that much structured as far as what I want to do with this stream. I just want to talk about Volume 4. I'm not going to talk about spoilers yet. I'm not really going to go into anything with the story too much, but because I want you to experience that, because I literally just dropped it today. I want you guys to check it out. Oh yeah, let me put on Twitter that I'm streaming as well. Streaming comic talk. Come hang out. Patrick Thomas Parnell is apparently he's quitting YouTube or something. Riot Press Comics. I don't know anything about this dude, to be honest, but I just saw it on Twitter. I'm glad I'm not screen sharing to Twitter because there's some insane stuff that I just came across. Anyway, Twitter has been apparently I've hit a couple of decent tweets back to back past couple of days. Unfortunately, none of it is my art stuff. Instead, it's me criticizing the Rippaverse as usual. That gets the most views. It would be so easy to make my channel just Rippaverse related stuff, but I refuse to do that. I refuse to make that. I refuse to make that my channel legacy. I refuse to do that. My channel is about comics in general. It's not just about the freaking drama or whatever that's going on in the indie comic scene. It's about the actual comics itself, including my own. So I'm not gonna succumb to the drama, man. I'm not gonna do it. Some other people can do that and make that their career. That's fine. Or make that like their hobby or whatever. That's fine, but it's not for me. I casually follow it, and if it's people that I don't know or I'm not interested in, I ignore it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about Volume 4. So Volume 4 compared to the novelization, because remember, Lil Miss Steel, the comic series, is adapted from the novel that I wrote back in like 2023. The comic differs because I skip chapter 2 of the novelization. I skip that and I go straight into chapter 3, which is the Stonehold arc. So volume 4 of the comic is actually chapter 5 of the novel. Now, to compensate this, I have added an additional volume, an additional story set in between chapters 5 and 6. So those who read the novel, there's a little bit of a buffer in between them now. And it's mainly because I've added a little more, shall I say, drama to the aftermath of what happens in Volume 4, which will be Volume 5. Now, Volume 5 should be out sooner than, it should be out sooner than this one. This one took me about, 4 months to make? Volume 5, I've already got it planned out, for the most part. And, well, like, as far as the shots is what I mean. I'm looking at the list right now. I still need to do a little bit more. But I believe it's probably going to be... around the 40-ish page number. So it's going to be a little bit shorter than the others. But the idea is that it's giving a spotlight to another character that did not get a spotlight at all in the novel. Is one of the Mighty Five members. And it's also going off of the the changes that I made to Volume 4 compared to Chapter 5 in the novel. So there's quite a bit of story stuff that's changed. Quite a bit of things that I'm proud of that I think I've improved in the writing quality itself. In general, I feel like things are a little more subtle because in the novel, I'll talk about this because this is the best example I can think of. In the novelization, I have Raymond basically explain that his mother died in 9/11 because it's set in 2002. And while that I think worked for like, an explanation for like, partially for what, Raymond is doing, why he would say this makes sense. I thought it would make more sense visually, since a comic is a visual storytelling medium. I told the story in a lot more of a subtle way. And let me see if I can actually show this. Let me see if I can actually show this page without spoiling too much. Yeah, I can't do that, unfortunately, because there's dialogue in it that kind of spoils it a little bit. But what you'll understand once you read it, which you can go read it now. In fact, let me grab that link and put it in the chat. But yeah, what you'll find is that it's a lot more subtle this time. The storytelling is because I can do things visually. There's a lot more I can do as far as the actual way I present information, and that's always fun for me to experiment with. It's always fun for me to play with that kind of thing. And instead of just having him say, "My mom died in 9/11," it's him alluding to it in his word choice and the visuals on the page. And I was really proud of that whenever I had that idea. I thought it was so much better of a way to do that. It feels far less tell. It feels a lot more show. Even though he is still telling the information to the characters, the audience is being shown the information. And I feel like that's so much better of a way to get the point of that scene across. I will show you this page. There's lots of little references in here. This one I'm pretty proud of. Oh, my bad. I didn't click it in the right place. This one I'm pretty proud of. People should be able to get this one this is not a subtle thing at all. I was just talking about how the writing had improved as far as subtlety. This reference is not subtle at all. Down to the fact that this drawing of Scott, what's his name? I forgot his last name. Anyway, he's the lead singer of Creed, the band Creed. With arms wide open under the sunlight. That one. And what's so funny is literally this morning, I was working on this page this morning, and just before I started actually like drawing, just before I started actually drawing, I was texting my friend Chris, and he posted a story with his kid, with the song "With Arms Wide Open" by Creed, and I was like, you know what? I could use this. Creed is totally a 2000s rock band, and that's usually the references I put in these volumes. Is usually it's a rock band, but literally the picture, the drawing I made of this guy is taken from a picture from him from like the 2000s. Like the way he was, like he had his head tilted slightly, and I was like, you know what? That's a good picture. Let me use that one. So I kind of traced over that. I kind of traced over like him in the picture. And then like added like his hand holding the microphone and cartoonified him a little bit. So but yeah, I just think it's really fun to do that kind of thing. It's really fun to add little references like this. I've done it with every comic so far. There's at least one and usually two rock band references in here in each volume, and this one has two as well. The next page I'll show you here. The next page I'll show you is him saying, "What is the red Chevelle doing in a skyscraper?" Now, if Ford wants me to take down the red Chevelle for copyright purposes, I will take it down. And I know this doesn't really look that much like a Chevelle. I'm not good at drawing cars. I'm sorry. I'll just admit that. I'm trying to get better, and by trying, I mean literally, like, tracing car outlines. Like, I'm looking up pictures of cars and tracing the cars. I'll admit to that, okay? I trace the cars, including the van, including the murder machine. I traced that van, too, because I am so just bad at drawing cars by hand. I would rather have the shame of tracing the car than like a picture of a car than draw something so bad it makes me ashamed to look at it. So yeah, that's my thing. That's my biggest like, I guess, hurdle when it comes to doing this is vehicles. But anyway, the Red Chevelle. There's a band called Chevelle, and one of their most popular songs, if not the most popular song they have, is called "The Red," the Red Chevelle. And then even to the point where Raymond's AI companion in this episode is named Pete. Pete is the lead singer of Chevelle. So there's all kinds of little references here and there in all the volumes, but these are the two major ones. There's still a few more here and there, a little blink and you miss it kind of references. But yeah, Chester is always up to something. Chester is always like the comedic backbone of all the comics. He's always getting into some kind of trouble or something. Just imagine like Baby Crying .wav playing here. I don't know if you can see the mouse. Can you actually see the mouse? No, you can't see the mouse. Okay, I need to get the brush then and put it on like red. So like yeah, just imagine like Baby Crying .wav right there. But yeah, so like this is a page that's just kind of just funny. I like to put little chibi moments in here, especially with Chester, because he's always the source of comedy in these. And it's using the fact that Raymond has a mechanical arm as a comedic beat, which previously, it's only been used for action. And then Amy, of course, being like, "Oh, come on." But let's see. But yeah, this one, going back to this one, Creed. I actually really like Creed. Some people will shame me for that, but I like Creed. They're pretty good. Oh, you can see the cursor, but I don't think you can see it when it's just my mouse. No, you can see it. It's just not as visible. Yeah. But anyway, so here I'll take you through this. If you don't know Creed, here's the references. Higher is arguably their most popular song. Can you take me higher? And then nothing here, nothing in this blurb. But then this one has, as everyone evacuates on the ground floor with arms wide open, we can only hope that Raymond isn't down to one last breath. So yeah, that's the references here. And I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but the Nighthawk, which is the jet that the Mighty Five have, is modeled and again traced. But hold your horses. It's traced after a thing that I made. I made this ship design in a game called Robocraft, and I made it just barely before the studio that kept the game running shut down. So the servers died. So I took like 5 or 4 screenshots of this build from different angles, and so I only have those 4. Now the good thing is that the community is so freaking amazing in video games in general that people have made a playable version of the 2015 version of Robocraft available absolutely free. You can download this right now and you can play it for free. You have all the equipment unlocked, infinite amount of stuff. Just build to your heart's content. You can fight against players, which there aren't that many, obviously. But you can fight against players or you can fight against bots in the practice mode. And it's so fun. It's such a fun time. It's genuinely like a wave of nostalgia hit me when I played the 2015 edition of that game. But the good news is that if I want to change up this design, because there's a few things that I would like to adjust a little bit. And now I just need to recreate this in the game. All the parts that I used for this are still in the game in the 2015 version. The game did not receive that many updates. After about, I think 2017 was like the last major year that the game was getting significant changes. But yeah, that's good news for me because I get to go back and add more stuff to this or tweak it a little bit. But yeah, that's another little art reference for you. Some other stuff. I'll show you this artwork. I show this artwork a lot because I'm really proud of it. I think this is one of the best action pages I've drawn. Period. I think it's just genuinely like one of my best artworks. This shot of V coming down, the angle, the proportions getting like larger as she gets closer to the quote unquote camera. I'm just very proud of how this one turned out. I think it's genuinely like a really, really solid angle from her. And it allows V to do something that she doesn't always do, because most of the time when I draw Lil Miss Steel, she's steeled up on her arms and her head, and sometimes like her chest and shoulders too. Most of the time she's punching, like she's a puncher. But I really wanted to use multiple forms of her using her abilities. She can only steel up half her body, so here she's steeled down her arms, she's steeled down her face, and now she's hardened up her legs, and she's going full force, gravity taking her down. The bottom half of her is significantly heavier than the top because it's steeled up, so she's hurtling down and smacking him in the face with the steel toe of justice. And wouldn't that be funny if I had like a little graphic behind her that went like steel toe of justice? That might be a little overkill. That might be a little bit. But yeah, and then like, you know, the previous picture, the previous page, I mean, is her holding on to the grappling hook and flying around with the arm, which is also a bit I'm really happy with. You know, I'll show this page too. I won't show too much, but I'll show this page. She grapples. The previous page, you can't see it, but the previous page, she reaches onto the back of her belt for one of the pouches on the back of her belt and grabs the grappling hook out of it. Fires up, manages to grab onto the arm of Death Metal, and then of course Death Metal's arm detaches. So now she's flying around. The background image on the second half of the page it's the same image. It's one solid image with all three panels. And what I'm doing here is something I saw in a Batman comic. Clayface was disguised as a chair, and on the first panel there's Batman and there's a chair. On the second panel, there's more of the chair, but now Clayface is morphing out of the chair. And then the third panel, Clayface is morphing around the corner of the room, and Batman is seen in front of him chasing after. And I thought that was such an effective way of displaying movement in the same camera shot, you know, so to speak. Like I'm phrasing it kind of like an animation, because that's how it would look in an animation. It would be one background, and the characters would move along that background. And so for me, I thought this would be a really good opportunity to use my inspiration from other stuff I've seen. I can't remember the name of the Batman comic off the top of my head, or what volume it was or anything. But it was a really cool piece that I saw that was I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very creative. How they displayed that, and I wanted to do something similar with it. So she's flying around like on the same box of screen, quote unquote screen. She's flying around and being pulled towards the camera by the end of it. So just stuff like that. I'm trying to do a little more creative stuff with the actions, with the action scenes, especially since this comic is so action heavy. This volume is like it's a build up. It's a lot of build up at the beginning, and then it's just a lot of action towards the second half. So there is one more artwork, but I want to be careful how I'm showing it because I don't want to show the full page. I'm only going to show a portion of it. This here I shared it on Twitter. Another one I'm really proud of because of the because of the motion that's shown from frame to frame. The silhouette shots, I like doing the silhouette shots. They're fun. and they allow me to do more panels of action without dedicating so much time to drawing the fully detailed characters. The silhouette stuff is I think if used sparingly, I think it can be very impactful. It can really emphasize the stances. It can really emphasize the poses and the motion implied by those poses. So like you can see from these three that Death Metal is grabbing Lil Miss Steel by the wrist, and then getting her with his other arm, throwing her back before reeling forward and slamming her through the floor. How hard would he have to throw her to slam her through the floor? Very hard, but thankfully she is durable. So it's another shot that I feel really good with. And I'm not going to tell you what the inspiration is for these poses. There is, you might know it. It's from an animated show. You might be able to guess it. If you do, comment, put it in the chat, whatever. But I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna let you figure it out. But this is very much inspired, referenced in the drawing of an animated show, action animated show. But I'm not gonna say what it is. Anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to see what else I can show here. I'm trying to like pick stuff that isn't super spoilery, stuff that I can show without worrying about stuff. I can show you some of the early pages. So let me close out of these. I can show you some of the early stuff. These 2 pages were a challenge, to say the least. Starting off this comic was a challenge because I wanted to showcase Armstrong's manor, how luxurious it is, and I use like an actual mansion as like a reference for this, and I wanted it to look like it's from Arizona, so like the trees are, the trees that are out here are very like, kind of dry color. They're not super vibrant green. They're kind of yellowish green and some orange and stuff like that. So it looks a little more. Thinking about all these trees. Now, obviously, I use copy and paste. That's my best friend whenever it comes to backgrounds like this. But man, all like this first, not even the full page, just this top half of the first page took me like probably close to 3 hours. I'm not even exaggerating. Now, thankfully, I had made these trees years ago when I was making the Yishu pilot volume, and thankfully, I made these to use as like assets for future stuff. Like I try to future-proof my stuff where I can just keep reusing certain things, like the skies, like the rocks, and stuff like that. So that saves some time, but again, they're not all the same exact tree. They're all like they're a little bit different from each other. The colors, some of the branches are slightly different and stuff like that. Like I tried to make it a little bit different, and I used advice from Dan Fan, another YouTuber who's all about comics and anime. She said that if I'm going to outline everything, I should outline everything. And so I used that advice to make the trees here stand out a little bit more instead of just copying and pasting them without an outline. It just looked weird in the first volume. And speaking of the first volume, I'm going to come back to that. But right now, I'm gonna keep focusing on volume 4, talking about this. But yeah, this is Armstrong. Armstrong's a character that I thought would be really funny if I named a guy with no arms Armstrong. His real name, like he was born, his last name is Armstrong, and he was in the military. He lost both his arms. Ended up creating a weapons and robotics manufacturing business that has made him quite a bit of money. His biggest competitor, of course, is Clank Robotics. But yeah, Plushmaker fan, wow, thank you so much. Check out Lil Miss Steel Volume 4. It's out right now. I'm not going to be going into too much spoilers at the moment. But eventually later I am going to do like a spoiler stream. That's probably going to be next week. But yeah, I'm just talking about some of the art and stuff that I feel like I can show you without spoiling too much. But yeah, so Armstrong, kind of a fun character. In my head, he is voiced by Clancy Brown, voice of Mr. Krabs, but more specifically, the voice that he gives Lex Luthor kind of fits him pretty well. The hair, I'll tell you something funny about this. The hair, the single like tuft of hair he's got spiked up like that is inspired by someone I actually know in real life. He is completely like shaved head, like just barely got like little tiny hairs all over his head, but it's super thin because he's old. And he's got, for some reason, only the front of his head, he's got a little unicorn horn. And like, I mean, it's unique. It definitely gives him a certain look, and he is a very unique man. I'll give him that. But he's got like a little unicorn horn of hair, and I was like, you know what? That's a fun character design. I could really use that for this. So I gave him the unicorn tuft of hair, and I think it works. I think it works for this guy. It kind of gives you the idea that this dude is still trying to hold on to like his manliness. He's still trying to hold on to his hair, even though he's obviously bald everywhere else except for there. He's got the mutton chops that are uniquely shaped. So like, you know, this guy is very much the macho military dude. But he's got the robotic arms, and the reveal going from this page to him being like, "Welcome to Armstrong Manor," and then the reveal of him derobing and revealing the robotic arms kind of gives you a clue of where he will fit in with the story later on. And of course, this girl. Fun fact: this girl right here. Fun fact: this girl appeared in Demonico, which is my hybrid novel series. I think it was like issue 8. No. Was it issue 10? Issue 10. Yeah. Issue 10. So here we go. This is so old at this point. It looks so bad. This is like this art is like 5 years old. And I'm not even exaggerating. This art is literally 5 years old. So you got some scuffed, even more scuffed fingers. I have improved on drawing fingers, thankfully, but it's still hard to draw hands. This one is not terrible, but it's still a little rough looking. But yeah, so this is like 5-year-old art. I forgot about the joke. Local homeowner claims a monster stole his television and left $300. I forgot about that joke. Oh, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one. Pat myself on the back there. Anyway, this girl is like a bored news telecaster, and I was like, you know what? I need a blonde chick to be the robot double. So why not just use her? So obviously she looks quite a bit better. Obviously she looks significantly better here than she does in this old artwork. But man, I mean, just you know, and even I forgot about this too. Even the background here is taken from a Demonico scene. There's a scene where they're fighting in a ruined mansion. So I unruined the mansion and put it here. And to be honest, I didn't really want to make a lot of elaborate decorations and stuff. So I had him give the excuse of saying, like, you know, forgive the lack of decor. I could use a woman's eye to liven it up, which also kind of gives the idea that this dude's a little bit of a womanizer, or a little, maybe perhaps misogynistic a little bit. But the idea is the main reason for this is basically because I didn't want to fill out all the space in the background with elaborate decorations. So I used that as a little character moment for him there. But yeah, and then the pattern. I thought the pattern on the arms would be fun, rather than just doing lines going from here to here. I thought doing this kind of tech pattern would be good, and the camo on the shoulder plates of the arm, I think also works pretty good for for telling you all about this guy. You know, like, you can figure out everything about him just by, you know, looking at him. You don't really need the description or the text here. All you really need is him, and I think that works pretty well for an opener for the comic. So again, this first page was a doozy. It was so long, and also the lighting too. I used a little bit of soft shading for the lighting, just to give him a little bit of a glow, and I think that makes this page in particular and this page really stand out. Is the super bright golden glow to everything. It gives off this air of luxury, this larger than life wealth that this guy has accumulated, and immediately pulls the rug out from under him by having this cyborg lady, or I guess she would be android because she's a robot. You know, that kind of thing. And even the eyes, I did something a little bit different with the eyes. The eyes look a little bit different than the rest of the human eyes. I gave her a little bit of a weirder look, kind of a blank look to her. But yeah, so that just the beginning, just starting off this was tough. But yeah. Oh yeah, you want to see some more old artwork? You want to see some more old artwork? Yeah, get this. Some old DeMonico artwork here. Woo! Woo, man. This guy certainly is crouching and shooting. I used to do in DeMonico, and I still do this with Lil Miss Steel. If you join the Patreon for like $30, I'll draw your character in the comic. And I did this with DeMonico too, and I did this a few times there. But I've done it significantly more with Lil Miss Steel. So effectively, like, this character would become your character shooting at Samson. But yeah, that's fun. Also, Ruth got shot in the arm, which is a little sad. I will say, I think the expression on her face still holds up. Like, it still works. The posing, just the proportions are a little bit off. Like, her legs are a little too small, too together. Man, I used to draw heads so big. Which is, it's fine. It's fine for me to draw heads that big because that was my art style back then. But now I've definitely gone more to a little bit more realistic proportions. And speaking of proportions, I promise this is going to a good place. Lil Miss Steel, initially, so I'll show you some of the early artworks. So here, we got V in one of her, this is volume 2. This is some artwork from volume 2. And now, volume 4, you might notice her arms are a little bit bigger. And her waist is just a teeny bit smaller. And my goal with this, and I've said this before, is I started the character, and I'll go back to even a volume 1 artwork. One of my goals with this character was to have her start off kind of a little insecure about herself, a little where's it at? Where's the page at? I'm looking for the page, but I can't find it. Yeah, like, this is a good example. Like, this is a page where you look at this and you can kind of like see that V is just a little chubbier than Amy. Amy is, like, you know, pretty skinny. But V, like, you look at her waist compared to hers, and she's a little bit wider. And she even calls herself fat a few times, and stuff like that. So the goal with this is, like, as she continues to fight villains and use her powers more and train better, she does get a little more in shape. She does get a little better. And already, just from volume 2 to volume 4, my art style has changed a little bit for her. Obviously, this was more of a glamour shot that you know, I actually toned down into detail whenever I put it into the comics. If I don't tone it down, that's my mistake. Because there's a little more detail in the shading here, the lighting on her, like the highlights on her shoulders and the top of her hair and stuff like that. I don't do that in the comic just for the sake of time. But the color, like the steel color, used to be just a flat gray. Now it's got a little bit more blue to it. The way her hair is drawn, before it was kind of swept all the way down. The sweeps were all the way down on both sides. Now they're kind of more out. So there's a little bit of art style changes here and there, but for the most part, it's been fairly consistent. And I have been trying to make an effort to draw her getting a little more muscle mass to her, a little more lean in some areas, but bulkier in some areas. So I'm proud of myself for doing that a little bit. So I'm going to keep doing that. Eventually, as it goes, I'm going to add more muscle detail to the shading and stuff like that. But let's get back to Volume 4. This is the cover art, obviously. I'm trying to see what other pages I can show without spoiling anything. I think I can show this one. I think I can show this one. This one's kind of funny. It's a play on, like, old school spam ads and stuff like that. Like whenever you download a virus, pop-ups start appearing and whatnot. So you've got stuff like free movies, click here, and it's intentionally pixelated. It's intentionally pixelated. So it might be hard to read on stream, but you could still clearly read it on the actual, like, Global Comics website. But yeah, stuff like download free games on freegames.com. Your account has been hacked. Send us money to save your info. Hot singles in your area. Sign up now. Stuff like that. Just again, trying to hone in on the time period this is set in on 2002. Instead of Hotmail, it's Cool Mail. Little things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's only so much that I can show. There's only so much I can show without spoiling anything. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to stop there as far as, like, sharing artwork. If you want to check it out, it's available right now, free. Go watch it. Go read it, I mean. But yeah, and then there's Volume 1. Now, I talked about Volume 1 previously, saying that I would go back to talking to it. So this is the cover for Volume 1. And for what it is, it works. Like, I think it's a decent cover. It shows the main character and her parents. It kind of gives you an idea of what you're getting into. And it also kind of does a little bit of a fake out, dare I say, a subversion of expectations, where it makes you think that this character here, Miss Steel, is going to be heavily directly involved, but in reality, she gets kind of sidelined in the first volume. So it comes off as a shock to the reader that this happens. So then it becomes all about, like, how she's going to save her and everything. So, and the complicated relationship between Night Vision and V. So this cover works, but I will be doing a little bit of remastering. I'm going to do a little bit of touch up to Volume 1, and I've mentioned that I sell this physically at local events I go to. I'm not going to do an online store. I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. It's just going to be in person. And with the amount of copies I've ordered, the amount I've sold, I've essentially made my money back. So I've broken even now, but I'm running out of Volume 1s. I'm running out of Volume 1s. So I need to order more. And before I order more, I'm going to do a little bit of remastering to the artwork, and going to have a little new cover artwork that I'm really excited to show off here. Here it is. So you might notice, hey, wait a minute, that does not look like your art. And that's because it's not. That is art drawn by Kim Kai _drawings. This guy is from Chile. Sorry, I had to do it. And ever since I saw his art, I was like, this looks really good. I really like this. The style, the coloring, and even some of the work with the backgrounds and stuff. I think it's pretty fun, pretty just nice art overall. Just very enjoyable. Really like the stuff that I see. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to commission this guy. I want to see what Lil Miss Steel would look like in this dude's style. And I was not disappointed. This is fantastic art. I love this. The art style, she looks really good in this art style. And and the posing, this is I saw some Wonder Woman artwork of her deflecting bullets with the bands on her wrist, and I was like, you know what? Let me try and get a little bit of that with Lil Miss Steel, because there is a moment in one of the volumes where a bullet hits her and reflects off. It bounces off because of her steel skin. So I really like the shading is a little simpler than what I try and do for the steel effect, but I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks like, it doesn't look like regular skin, because you can see the regular skin on her legs and the holes on her chest and stomach of the outfit. You can tell there's a lot more reflection and a lot more light to it. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm really happy with this commission. Again, that's KimKai_drawings on Instagram. Very good artist from Chile, and I'm really happy with this. So this is going to be, I'm not entirely sure. The background is not finalized. I may do a different background. I may draw something completely unique for the background. I may reuse a background that I've already drawn for this. But the idea is that the artwork is going to be front and center like this. And this is going to be cover B for Volume 1. I may reprint cover A on Volume 1 again in the future. I may do that. But the moment, this is what I'm going to do for the next time I order some more copies of Volume 1. It's going to be with cover B. Eventually, if I end up doing an online store and I sell this stuff physically, over like a web store, like my website, I turn it into a store. If that ends up happening, then don't worry. Cover A will return at some point. So don't freak out. Good old water. So yeah, and besides that, and I want to go over a little bit of art from Volume 1 that I'm talking about needs to be touched up a little bit. Let me go to the pages. Yeah, so here we go. Let me close out of that. Also, I forgot to put number 1 up here. And I forgot to do that for the second volume too. So when I reprint, when I print more volume 2s, I'm going to get the number 2 on there. So right off the bat, like the first page, this bus looks bad. I'm going to redraw the bus, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I was talking about vehicles being my Achilles heel when it comes to drawing. This bus, I did not trace this bus. Believe it or not, this is an original me drawing a bus. And it looks horrible. I didn't like it when I released Volume 1 last year. I didn't like it when Volume 2 came out, and I like it less and less as the days go by. So I'm going to redraw this bus. First of all, it's short. They don't ride a short bus. So I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking when I drew this bus. I should have just traced a real bus. I should have just looked at a picture, or even taken a picture of a real bus and used this for this instead of just drawing it by hand. But oh man, the houses as well. I like the variety of the buildings in the background. But I do think I'm going to touch them up a little bit. I think I'm going to add a little bit of an outline to them. The rocks in the background, I may also add a little bit of an outline to them, because that's the main thing, right? Is the outlines are one of the key features of my art. So when things don't have outlines, it looks a little off. So that's what my goal is, to try and fix the consistency. Is to try and make Volume 1 up to the level of Volume 2, and so on. This is an example of a page that I fixed a while back, because this tree did not have this outline, and I went ahead and gave it its outline later on. And I think the fences might not have had a line as well. I can't remember, but yeah. Now this part for this bus looks good because it's not the full vehicle. It's just the side of the bus. I can make the side of the bus look good. But even then with this, like, the rocks in the background and stuff, like the rocks, I need to add an outline to them. They seem to, like, I maybe add a little bit orange color to them to make them look a little more like they fit. Just a little things like this. I'm going to go through page by page and say, does this need tweaking? Is there something that needs to be updated? If yes, do it. If not, then move on to the next page. But the goal is for me to touch up Volume 1 before I move on to before I reprint it. Let me put it that way. It might not be the next thing I do. I might go ahead and start working on Volume 5, but Volume 1 remaster is, if it doesn't come before Volume 5, it's definitely coming after Volume 5. Now, I won't be doing that for Volume 2 or anything else after that. It's just Volume 1 that I feel like needs a little bit of touching up, and maybe I'll think differently in a year's time. But for the moment, I feel like Volume 2 and onward is when the art style becomes a lot more consistent. Whereas Volume 1 has a little bit of that issue. Here's another page. The outline on this couch is colored, and I don't do that for anything else. Like, I do it in Volume 1, but I don't do it for anything else. So, just things like that definitely could use some touch-up. Definitely could use some fixing, right? This background, I think for the most part, looks pretty decent. But this stuff up here, the AC units and whatever else is on top of roofs that I looked up for the reference, this stuff needs to, this gray blobs here and there, it needs to be outlined. It needs to have a little bit of an outline, even if it's just like 3 pixels wide. It needs to do this. So I need to go back and fix this stuff. Just little adjustments here and there. Nothing changing the story, nothing doing anything drastic, just little touch-ups here and there to make things look just a little bit better. So, with that being said, I want to do a little bit of a fun thing. Let me go back to the character artworks. I love this song. The song is so good. Oh. Did not mean to do that. I'm trying to pull up the artwork of the... Yeah, here we go. Yep. Alright, so this is another one that I've drawn, where she's got a little more muscle to her. We're going to play kind of a fun game here. I've kind of thought about doing this for a little while, and I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to do it. So, I don't know if you noticed on YouTube, but ever since Cartoon She, or maybe someone else, did a video on the Incredibles DVD extras, which I had, by the way. They're still probably at my dad's house somewhere. The DVD and the extras that came with it of the Incredibles has like a bunch of like audio files on different characters, different characters in the universe, such as Gamma Jack, and people are losing their mind at Gamma Jack because he's essentially Homelander, but with radiation powers, which is terrifying. But yeah. That's something that has been blowing up. People have rediscovered that because of YouTube videos, and so I thought about it. I'm like, let's just do a fun little hypothetical. Let's do a fun little, what if Lil Miss Steel was in the Incredibles universe? How would she fare versus some of the characters in here? So I figured that would be funny. I figured that would be fun. Obviously, they can't be in the same universe because, well, I guess they could be, but there's nothing necessarily conflicting. But the technology in The Incredibles is so extremely advanced for the 1960s, it doesn't really make sense. So I'm just gonna do a little hypothetical. What if? All right, what if Lil Miss Steel fighting Elastigirl? Who wins? I think Elastigirl, because I genuinely don't really know how you can stop Elastigirl without freezing, which was shown in Incredibles 2, which a lot of people don't like that movie. I think it was okay. I don't think it was a bad movie. It wasn't nearly as good as the first one, but it was still fun. It was still a fun little movie. I enjoyed it. Plot holes and all, I thought it was still a fun time, especially with the scenes with Frozone and the Jack and the Incredimobile or whatever it's called, the Incredibile. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, as far as in a match, I'm not saying a death match. I'm saying win by knockout. I think V would end up losing. Lil Miss Steel would lose simply because she's not fast enough to catch up to Elastigirl. I think she could very easily outmaneuver her and outthink her with her abilities. Lil Miss Steel does have the Frostbangs though. So, now I think about it, the Frostbangs, the stuff that instant freezes whatever it hits. You know what? I think actually Lil Miss Steel could beat her. I think she actually could beat her. She would just have to get really lucky with aiming the Frostbangs. So I'm gonna count that. As a win. I think that's a win for Lil Miss Steel. I think that's I think she wins that one. I'm trying to find a PNG of Mr. Incredible, but this one we'll just have to do. Here, I'll make her the top layer. All right, Mr. Incredible. This is a little bit of a harder match for her because he is extremely strong. He's picking up train cars and juggling them almost. So his super strength is so much far beyond hers. I would even say that he's stronger than Miss Steel, the fully alien superhero. That's V's mom. So to be honest, if these two go to a punching fight, she's definitely losing. If she uses the gadgets in her belt, like the grappling hook, the smoke grenades, the Frostbangs and stuff, I think potentially she could give him a run for his money. But is Lil Miss Steel beating Mr. Incredible? No, I don't think she is. I think she loses to Mr. Incredible. Plus, this guy is deceptively fast. When he's running away in the woods from that Omni droid, when he's running, he is deceptively fast. And that was back when he was fat. It's crazy how fast this guy is. It makes sense that Dash has super speed. And speaking of, let me Incredibles Dash. Copy paste. All right, Dash. I think she would have a hard time dealing with Dash at first, but Dash is extremely cocky, extremely arrogant. So I think his overconfidence would get the better of him. I think she would end up either frostbanging the ground in front of him, and he either smacks into it and gets knocked out, gets frozen in the ice and gets stuck, so that she could punch and knock him out, or she grapples his legs together. I think potentially she could do that. I think this is a win, is what I'm saying. I think this is a win for Lil Miss Steel. I don't think that's too much of a challenge for her. I think that's a fairly easy one. The easiest one so far, I would say. Violet, how's she doing against Violet? The force fields are pretty strong, but she's not very good at using that power yet. She's still, even by Incredibles 2, she's still kind of like iffy on how good she's able to do it. The invisible aspect, though, obviously that's going to cause a bit of an issue. I think what would happen is she would be invisible and she would kind of kick V around a little bit. And then she would, Lil Miss Steel would probably figure out, like, okay, if I can't see you, you're not going to be able to see me. She's going to activate the smoke grenade and then look for movement in the smoke. And then I think Lil Miss Steel would get her. I think this is another win for Lil Miss Steel. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? What am I doing with my Friday night? I'm enjoying creating comics and the fun. I'm not gonna do a fight of Jack. That's a baby. I'm literally not doing that. I feel bad enough putting up a 10-year-old Dash against her. Is he 10 years old or is he 12? He's moving from the 5th grade to the 6th grade, I think is what Mr. Incredible says. I think that's what he says. So he's probably 12. He's probably like 11 or 12. Syndrome. Syndrome, your nemesis. All right, this is not a PNG. It lied to me. Syndrome. So this is very similar to the Dash fight. In the fact that I think the beginning of the fight, Syndrome would be absolutely destroying her. He just has to point at her and she's frozen in place. I mean, it's a paralysis beam. He literally could just win by just holding his finger there and just running up to her and punching her until she just gave up. The problem is that he is human and he doesn't have any like super strength or anything like that. So his gloves do not have any kind of super strength. So he might be able to paralyze her. But is he going to actually hurt her by punching her in the face when she's steeled up? Probably not. Now, if she's steeled up in the face and the arms, but she's not steeled up in the stomach, he could hit her in the gut, I guess, and vice versa. So he could punch where she's weak. But do I think a normal guy punching Lil Miss Steel, even with the paralysis stuff, do I think that would end up stopping her? No. I think Lil Miss Steel would probably win this fight too, if for no other reason than Syndrome's arrogance. I think that would also, be his downfall. Same thing with Dash. This is really cool fan art. I don't know whose fan art this is, but this is really cool. I love that. That looks awesome. I love that art style. All right. Get out of here. Let me think. Who else? Who should add? Oh, yeah, of course. Let me go back. Go back a tab. Incredibles. Frozone. Greater good. I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get. Such a good scene. All right, Frozone. I think Frozone wins. I'm not even gonna try and argue against Frozone. I think I think him just being able to freeze is really good. Now, being metal, she would not necessarily be weak to freezing. She would eventually break out of the ice. I don't think the ice would hold her forever, but I think it would hold her long enough so that Frozone could do something else to hurt her. Like he could grab something to hit her with, or just make a giant, icicle form like a bridge or something, and drop down on her. There's all kinds of stuff that he can do with his ice powers. He can ski and make that sled dome thing that he rides on. He could hit her with that. He can get some good momentum going and hit her with that and knock her out potentially. I think this is a pretty clear win for Frozone. But I don't necessarily think it would be easy. I'll put it that way. Because, again, I don't think you could freeze her for very long. I think she would eventually break out of it. But getting frozen back to back to back would eventually put her in hypothermia, and I think she would end up losing anyway. So, yeah, I think Frozen wins. I'm trying to think what else. Incredibles 2 characters. All right, here's. That's not really what I wanted. I want like a good. I want a good picture with all of them. Is this all of them? I think it is. Okay, it's not the best picture, but it's probably the easiest one I've got for this. Blue dude, Crush dude. He judging by what he did to the metal hallway in Incredibles 2, judging by how he crushed that so hard, I think V would just die. I think if he looked at her a certain way and just crushed around her, I think he would just destroy her, in my opinion. I don't think there's much hope for Lil Miss Steel winning against Crush. Now this guy, I kind of forgot what this dude does. I totally forgot what this dude does. Does he shoot lightning? Is that his thing? Does he shoot lightning? Let me see if I can. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of him using his powers. Nah, I can't find anything, man. Can't find anything. I think he might have lightning powers. Judging by like the concept art I see here, yeah, I think he does have lightning powers. I think she could potentially beat him. I think it's possible. Because she could potentially get electrocuted and still, she could walk it off after a little bit and get back in the fight. If he just kept zapping her like the Emperor does to Luke, I think that's a game over for her. But I still think, even then, she could use her gadgets, because he has to be kind of standing still or slow moving to be zapping her. I think she would be able to throw out a frostbang and freeze him. So this one kind of goes either way. I'm kind of not either of them really. This guy, Mermaid Man, spits lava, which is pretty freaking horrific to even think about. But he spits lava. She's made of metal. That's not good. That's not good at all. I think if he hits her once, she's dead. Right? I mean, like, if he hits her once, she's dead. So that's, as much as I hate to say it, this old man is probably going to beat her. Now, if she manages to dodge all of his lava loogies, she can punch him once, and I think he's out. Because look at him. He's frail. He's not in shape. He's just a little gremlin. He's just a little goblin. If she can avoid it and just hit him once, I think potentially she can do it. And maybe she can even buy herself a hit by throwing a frostbang at one of the lava loogies and just cancel it out. I'm starting to think this one could go either way. It's definitely in favor of Reflux, or Reflex, whatever he's called. Reflux, I think. Definitely in favor of him, because all he has to do is get lucky once. But I think it's possible for either of them to win this. Alright. And then Teleporter Girl, Void, whatever her name is. She can teleport stuff. Definitely an annoying foe to fight. She's also not arrogant like Syndrome is. So there's a little bit of similarity to that fight, but there's also like the fact that she's not going to become overconfident. I think Void wins. I I think Void wins because all she really has to do is teleport V super high up and let her fall down a couple of times, and that's basically it. Yeah, a good teleporting character is hard to beat. Specifically one who can like teleport you. A character that can teleport behind you is also dangerous, but one that can teleport you and other objects into you, like it, yeah. That's tough to deal with. Brick, which is just generic super strong character. Now I think that V cannot beat Mr. Incredible, but I think she can beat Brick. I think it's possible because Brick is so ridiculously big and slow, also weaker than Mr. Incredible. I actually think that Lil Miss Steel could potentially win this, and I don't think it's that difficult for her to do it either. I think it's actually a pretty good, clean, fair fight here. Now Brick is also kind of stupid as well, which, kind of like Stonehold, but Stonehold's got the mud and the rock stuff. He can't really, he can't really be defeated like a typical foe. But Brick can. Brick, I think a couple of good punches, and Brick is down. I think so. Lil Miss Steel wins this one, and then this one, the owl guy. I just wonder what he can do. What is it? I don't think he has like any kind of sonic screech. I don't remember that in the movie. If he does have the sonic screech, it's a tougher fight. But I still think Lil Miss Steel wins, simply because him swooping into her is not really going to do too much. It's going to knock her off her feet maybe, but it's not really going to do any significant damage. So I think Lil Miss Steel clears. I think Lil Miss Steel clears. So there's a couple of tough matches in this group, but I think she wins most of them. Now I'm gonna try my hardest to find a good quality image of this. That's it, huh? That's it for... This is the best I got? Oh, man. Alright. I can't remember what all these characters do, to be honest. So, I'm not going to be able to do this whole list. But I'll do the best ones I can think of. Let's see. Man, I can't remember what all these people do. Gamma Jack, she's losing. She's losing to Gamma Jack. Immediately right out the bat, this guy right here, he clears. That is absolutely a... Well, I'll circle him to show that he wins. Gazer Beam, lasers, if it hits her steel skin, it wouldn't immediately melt through her, but if she's trying to block it for a long time, it would probably melt through her. So I think Gazer Beam has a pretty good shot. Pretty good shot, I would say, but he doesn't have super strength or anything like that. So I think if she gets a good couple of hits on him, he's down. If he lasers her where she's not steel, yeah. So I'm gonna do a diamond to say I think it's a tie. I think either of them could win. Let's see who else. Stratagal, she can fly. I don't know what her other powers are. I don't think she has anything too extreme. I think Lil Miss Steel clears. I think she clears. What else? This is the girl down here. It was something about gases. Like she could create gases? I'm gonna say she wins. Simply because if she can make like a toxic gas, then Lil Miss Steel is knocked out, man. She's dead. She's dead. Dyna Guy. That's this dude. I think he has some kind of a what? His power is like solar power. I think he was solar power. I would say I'm gonna do the diamond. I'm gonna do the diamond. And then I don't know. I genuinely don't know who the rest, what the rest of these powers are. Oh yeah, this guy's got storm powers. I think he wins. Oh no, excuse me, that's wrong. I think he wins just because. Well, no, because she's half steel, so she's pretty heavy. She's kind of hard to move. You know what? I think I was right. X him out. I think she wins. And then this girl, she was part of the group with Geyser Beam and Dyna Guy. Oh no, the wind dude. The wind dude. I can't remember what her power is though. It's kind of niche. It's a niche power. Oh well, I can't remember. And then I think this girl just flies. I don't think she has anything unique. When this dude, I genuinely can't remember this dude. I can't remember most of these. I don't know. I think I'm done with the Incredible stuff. I think I'm done with that at this point. I'm trying to think if there's any other characters in. Oh yeah, Incredibles. The Underminer. Behold, the Underminer. Yeah. So this dude, giant drill. You gotta keep in mind that he's got the giant drill in the fight. So her, she's not gonna stop it. She's not gonna stop the drill unless she goes inside the drill like the Incredibles do in Incredibles 2. Excuse me. But I do think in a fist fight, I think she can beat him. I think they nerfed Mr. Incredible really hard in the Incredibles 2. It doesn't make sense that this dude not only beats Mr. Incredible, but he gets away. And also, they don't catch him. It's kind of disappointing. They don't catch him. But I think in a one-on-one fight, he's done. He's done. All right? I think she's stronger than the Underminer. I think she's faster than Underminer. I think she's got better gadgets than Underminer. I mean, he's got metal arms. But she's got metal arms too, and half her body at any point could be metal. So I think Underminer loses. I think he loses. But yeah, and then you know what? Superman 2025. We're moving on. We're moving on from the Incredibles. We are now on to Superman. Let's go to the next trendy superhero thing. Does Miss Steel beat Superman? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even I think if you gave her kryptonite, I still think Superman would win. Absolutely not. Green Lantern. Let me pull up this dude. This is a funny picture. I like this. Does she beat Guy Gardner? Can Lil Miss Steel beat Guy Gardner? No. Guy Gardner wins. I think the construct ring is so powerful. he doesn't even need to get close. She couldn't even get close to him if he really wanted to. If he really wanted to not let her. Mr. Terrific. Yeah, there we go. There's a good picture. All right, Mr. Terrific. Can she beat Mr. Terrific? I would say no. Just by, a numbers game. He's got all these drones flying around and stuff. He's got like 30 of these things in the movie. And they're all like, fire lasers or, just run into people and just like, just smack them around. I think V would get overwhelmed very quickly. And lose to him. I don't think he would even need to. He would lay a finger on her. I think all these little orb drones, the T spheres, would get to her. And then Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl is a little more of an interesting fight. I think these two are pretty even as far as like fighting goes. I think they're about the same strength. Because Hawk Girl has like a little bit of enhanced strength and durability, but nothing close to Superman. Of course, she can fly, so that's an advantage over Lil Miss Steel. She's got that mace. That's definitely going to hurt. Even with steel skin, that is going to leave a mark. So I think there is a potential for Lil Miss Steel winning. But at the end of the day, I think she loses. I think she loses this one. Isabella Mercado. Excellent casting. Luther obviously would outsmart her. I don't think that's a question. Ultraman is basically just Superman. The Engineer. I also think Crypto the Superdog would beat her too, for the record. So the Engineer, seeing what she does to Superman in this film, oh man. What she does to Superman is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And the stuff that she can do with her body, because she's all basically nanobots, it's very interestingly drawn. Not drawn. Animated. What am I saying? She has a lot of cool stuff. She has a lot of really cool moments. And she can do just about anything. So, look, I would be stupid if I said she won, to be honest. I don't think you can even knock her out. I really I don't know how you even could knock her out. Like, she gets knocked out in the movie, but I don't understand how. All right, anyone else? Supergirl, she loses because she loses to Superman. Oh yeah, Metamorpho. I think she loses to Metamorpho too, because genuinely, how do you kill Metamorpho? How do you kill him? I don't know how it's possible. And not just kill, but like knock him out. How do you do it? How do you knock him out? Is it possible? He can turn into anything. It's crazy. I really don't understand it. And why not? Why not? Fantastic Four 2025. Let's get a picture of all of them. Yeah, there we go. That's a good high quality image. Well, I thought it was, but it's not that great. All right, versus the Thing. The Thing is stronger than her for sure. But he is made of a rock-like material, and she is metal. So she's probably a little more durable. Her metal hits a little bit harder, probably, against his rock, but he is stronger than her. So I think they're about evenly matched when it comes to like the punching stuff. I just think Thing is gonna be, because he's gonna break out of her Frostbang ice stuff. He's gonna break out of that. He's not going to care about the grappling hook stuff. The smoke grenade, he probably just claps and the smoke goes away. I think he wins. I think he wins. Invisible Woman, very similar to Violet. I think potentially, I think Lil Miss Steel might actually beat her. To be honest. Mr. Fantastic, similar to Elastigirl. If she can freeze him, I think it works. I think he could be defeated by Lil Miss Steel. I think she could win. But I do think it's a tough match. It could go either way. And then Human Torch, he wins. Because he's fire. And Lil Miss Steel, no like fire. So, that's my thoughts. Silver Surfer, probably loses. Similar looking in appearance, but totally different in what they actually are. I think Lil Miss Steel probably loses. And then, of course, she loses to freaking Galactus because it's Galactus. Excuse me, I'm getting tired. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for tonight's stream. I just wanted to end it off with something a little funny like that. So I might do more. Fun stuff like that in the future. I may do more little fun matchups and stuff to keep up with the trends of superhero movies. So I might do some Marvel stuff next. Besides Fantastic Four, I might do some more Marvel characters, like MCU stuff. So yeah, that's basically what I got. So thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for reading Lil Miss Steel Volume 4. It's out right now. Go read it. Click the link in the chat. Click the link in the description. And go give that a read. I would very much appreciate it. This has always been something I just do for fun. If I can make a little money off of it by selling it in person at local events, cool. If not, I still got a bunch of people online that enjoy it. And the numbers are really, really great. 2,600 views on the first volume, 2,200 on the second volume, and 2,000 on the third volume. Considering all of them are divided by 3 or 4 months apart from each other, it's really freaking good viewer retention. It's actually great viewer retention. There's this music again. Oh, it's so good. I love this track. But yeah, I just, that amazes me that people, it's not just a one thing and moving on. Because Symbiotic, something that I saw with it was that it had a lot of views on the first chapter and not much elsewhere. I think a lot of people clicked on the first chapter and kind of dipped. And I think part of that is probably because when it comes to novels, I'm not as good of a writer as I am a comic writer. I think I'm good with the story, but I think with all the little details that the novel should have, I don't think I'm as good with that. But I think I am good with telling a story with art. I think that's where my strength is taking this cartoony art style and writing a really good story with characters with fun dialogue and believable banter and relationships with each other. I think I can tell a fun story, but I don't think I'm the greatest at it with novels. I think I'm much better with comics. So I'm so glad I decided to do this. And again, just a refresher, I decided to do this full comic drawing experience because my brother was diagnosed with cancer a few years back. And, that kind of pushed me to say, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I really hope that I can make some money off of this and give that money to him. And thankfully now he's at a point where, he's been working. He's been back in the workforce for over a year now, which is really great. So, he's back on his feet. That moment has passed, thankfully. But because I took that step, because I made the difficult decision to undertake the creation of a comic because I did that, I'm just going to keep going with it, man. It's inspired me to keep going with it. And at the rate I'm doing things, I think I'm going to be able to get out another comic this year. I think I am going to be able to do it before the end of the year, especially with Volume 5 being shorter. So look forward to that, man. And plenty more to come. Plenty more to come. I'm so excited to show you guys what I've got planned. So for those of you who read the novel, shh, no spoilers. And for those of you who have read the volume, again, thank you very much. Spoiler stream will come out next week. I'll be talking more about the plot details of this and more in-depth stuff about the art. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, get notified. Until next time.